Okay, how's it going, y'all? So today we're gonna read some Mao Zedong. This is 1959, so this is after the revolution. It's an abstracted compilation of something he wrote called "Examples of Dialectics." And I wanted to get into dialectics because it's an important thing to understand. Because Marxism doesn't happen without it. It's without dialectical materialism. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into some of this. And there's different ones here. How many different segments? So this total thing has 32 different segments, but I'm going to read some of these ones some are really short. Some are, long enough to be like a reading here. And I'm going to get into one of those. This is the question of two possibilities. Let's go ahead and get into it. The question of two possibilities. Will mess halls, nurseries, and communes be able to consolidate or not? It seems that they will be able to consolidate. But we also must be prepared against some of them collapsing. Two possibilities, consolidation and collapse, exist simultaneously. If we are not prepared, we may fail utterly. Our resolution is to make it possible for them to consolidate. If some of them do not collapse, then consolidation work cannot be done well. For example, several children have died in the nurseries and several elderly people have died in the happiness homes. When happiness can no longer be found in the happiness home, in what way are they still superior? A group of mess halls also will fail if they serve their rice cold or serve rice without dishes that go with it. To think that none of them will fail is not in agreement with reality. They fail because of mismanagement. This is very reasonable. On the whole, failure will be partial and temporary. The general trend is development and consolidation. Our party also has two possibilities. One possibility is consolidation, and the other is splits. When in Shanghai, one central committee was split into two. During the Long March, Chiang Kuo-tao again split one central committee into two. Cao Kang and Zhao Shuoxi represented a partial split. Partial splits are frequent. Since last year, splits have occurred within the leading groups of one half of the provinces in the country. Inside a human body, cells die off every day. From childhood on, this phenomena occurs. Only in this way can growth be benefited. If there are no deaths, man can no longer survive. If man does not die, then that is not possible. Death can be a benefit. Fertilizer can result from it. Partial splits exist every day. Total extinction is also a historical inevitability, all in all. Both party and state, which have served as the tools of class struggle, must perish. But before the historical task of the party is completed, it is a question of consolidation. We do not hope for splits, but we should prepare against them. If we are prepared, we will possibly avoid big splits. Big and medium splits are temporary. The Hungarian incident was a big split, while the Cow and Mo incidents were medium splits. Every party branch is undergoing a change. Some members are being expelled. Some are being admitted. Some are doing a very good job. Some are committing mistakes. It is impossible not to ever undergo a change. Lenin often said that a thing invariably has two possibilities, either victory or extinction. Our People's Republic of China also has two possibilities, victory after victory or extinction. Since Lenin did not conceal the possibility of extinction, the People's Republic must not deny such a possibility. We do not have an atomic bomb in our hands. If the enemy occupies Peking, Shanghai, and Wuhan, we will go into the mountains and engage in guerrilla warfare. We will go 10, 20 years backward and return to the Yan'an period. Therefore, we must make vigorous preparations, exert our energies to produce tens of millions of tons of steel within 3 or 4 years, and establish an industrial base, so that we will be more consolidated than now. At present, our name is quite famous throughout the world. 1, because of the shelling of Quemoy. 2, because of the people's communes. And 3, 10.7 million tons of steel. It seems that because of these several things, our reputation is great, but our strength is not. We are still poor and blank. We have acquired tool of an inch long in our hands, and we have accomplished not a thing, though we now have an inch of iron. Our country is actually weak. Politically, we are a powerful country. Economically and militarily, we are a weak country. That's why the task before us is to transform from weakness to strength. We must exert our energies to undergo a change for the better in 3 years' time. Within 3 years, we can bring about only a partial change and not a basic change. After another 4 years, which makes it 7 years altogether, everything will be better and our reputation will correspond to reality. Now, our reputation is great and our strengths insignificant. This we must understand thoroughly. Don't start walking on air the moment you are praised by a foreigner or the moment you open a newspaper and see that it is full of accounts of our soaring enthusiasm and our miraculous doings. In fact, good steel amounted to only 9 million tons. Rolled steel production should be figured at 30% less, hence only 6 million tons. We must not deceive ourselves. A lot of grain was produced. After reductions have been allowed, the production in all places was 860 billion caddies. We have said it was 750 billion caddies. This is to say that they turned up a little, more after poking here and there. The 110 billion caddies which they turned up have not been taken into account. Nobody suffers if we really have, but do not take into account those 110 billion caddies. Things will still be there. We were only afraid of being without, and so we made a reduction. Granting that there were 860 billion caddies, allowances should be made for 1/4 of the output being tuber crops. We might as well make this clear. A meeting should be held in every province, region, or country to discuss this problem. Some people don't like to hear what I'm saying, but I insist on talking about this very unfortunate thing. Whether it is the collapse of the communes or public mess halls, splits in the party, divorce from the masses, occupation by the U.S., extinction of the nation, or engagement in guerrilla warfare, we have a Marxist law which takes care of everything, and that is, all these unfortunate things are temporary and partial. Historically, our many defeats have proved this point. During the Long March, the reduction of our forces from 300,000 in number to a little over 20,000, and that of party members from 30,000 to a few thou, were all temporary and partial. The extinction of the bourgeoisie and imperialism is permanent. However, the setbacks, defeat, or extinction of socialism will be temporary, because it will be restored before long. Even if restoration is defeated, it also will be temporary. After the Great Revolution of 1927 was defeated, we took up arms again to fight a guerrilla war. Unforeseen wind and clouds may appear in the sky suddenly. Fortune or misfortune may befall man, between morn and evening. All of us must be prepared. From of old men of 70 years have rarely been seen. Man invariably will perish. A person will always die. A person always will die. He cannot live 10,000 years. Man should prepare to set his affairs in order before he dies. This is all gloomy talk. All men will die, but mankind as a whole will grow and flourish. If die we must, we will die. As for socialism, we still want to occupy ourselves with it for a few more years. All right. So that was, examples from dialectics. It was the two possibilities. And he's kind of applying dialectics to, the nation at the time. So, that was the question of two possibilities. Well, thank y'all for, tuning in. If y'all want to follow me online, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, TikTok, Medium, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, Medium, TikTok. Yeah, and also I have a Telegram. It's Marxist on all those. The Telegram is Marxist_saw. Y'all follow me on there. Hit me up on there. Y'all have a great day. Dodada Goe.